everyone, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am scrapping another one of Virginia Walker's amazing Cutfiles. Link down below to her Confessions of a Paper Addict Cutfiles store. Here you can see some stills of the gorgeous Cutfile that I have used today. I think he is up there with one of my favorites so far. I really love him. I cannot go on about how cute he is. And there are my cute little photos of my little Thomas. So what is happening? I backed my Cutfile using mostly the Bohemian Dreams, Coco Vanilla Studios Bohemian Dreams collection. The paper I used for the pages is not that. It was just some random piece of thin paper that I found in my stash. I actually stuck it to thicker normal paper and then backed it on a Cutfile, because in my experience the last time I used thin paper on a Cutfile it all warped and wobbled when I tried to glue it. So I thickened that one up first. I am right now using an old makeup sponge and some Kaisercraft a white acrylic paint just to dull down where I'm going to put the Cutfile. That's why I keep bringing it back over, because I really loved the text on this 12 by 12 piece of paper. It works really well with a book layout, but it was just a little bit too strong for what's happening in my photos and everything. On camera right now it looks like I've made a really big white patch on the page, like a really thick. In real life it's much more dull than that, much more subtle, and you will be able to see as we go on, and especially now that it's dried, that it is a little bit more subtle. It's even still seems more subtle than it looks there, so I'm really happy with how that looks. Now this is a really thin piece of paper from an Aldi paper pad, so I'm going to back it on white paper. I'm also doing that as well because it's sort of like that creamy bone colour, but I've used white acrylic paint. I've backed the Cutfile is a white Cutfile. The Bohemian Dreams collection has got like a thin white outline. I'm going to back my photos in white. So there's a lot of white going on, but yet the pattern paper that I'm using in the background is sort of a cream. So I just kind of want to, I guess, offset that, just show that it was all done deliberately, I suppose. So I am back with my two photos. They have been matted. They've both been matted in white, and then they've got two separate different colours of the Bohemian Dreams cardstock matted around them. So they don't look the same, they're matted differently for no reason other than I thought that would be cute. I'm now just going through the Bohemian Dreams ephemera pack and pulling aside what I like, what I don't like, what I think will look good with the layout regardless of if I like it or not, and all of that kind of thing, making sort of two piles. I have a bit of an idea of how I want this to go. I'm sorry, I'm moving my hands around in the air as if I'm talking to you in person. You can't see me. But I'm still working it out. I really loved the sentiment on that tag, and also if you could see closely, the bottom right hand corner of that photo has no of the pink matte because I ran out of that paper. So I need to cover that just for my OCD. So yeah, I really love the sentiment of that, and I like the idea of putting that down there. I know I want to use like every single flower from this collection because they're gorgeous and they're beautiful and I want them on my page, so I'm probably going to try and do that. Just having a fiddle, having a play. Imagine this is me sped up to twice the speed as I was working at the time. So imagine how slowly I was pondering this and looking at this and thinking about it, because my hands don't look ridiculously fast right now, seeing as it's double speed. I mean, they look a bit fast, but that is how slow I was working when I was trying to work out, do I want that there or do I want that there? Or how about that here? I mean, sometimes it's the funnest part of scrapbooking and sometimes it's really not. I think it's supposed to be the funnest part of scrapbooking, but sometimes layouts are just really tricky for me. And I'm just so lucky that my sister doesn't get frustrated with the amount of photos I must send her. Oh, if you could see our feeds, like our chat feeds with just photos. She sends me photos every time she makes a layout too, but it's when they're finished, not partway through asking for help. Oh dear. It helps also, even if she's not like, which I think she is, obviously that's why I'm sending them to her, but even if she's not like the super amazing genius scrapbooker, it's also just someone to give you a decision. Because often I'm sending her, do you like this one or this one better? And to just have her go, that one, like, okay, good, put it there, and then move on to the next step. I can be so indecisive sometimes. But I'm pretty good at taking like direction or being told what to do. I don't mind that. This is, I've been using Craft foam tape because when they have the 50% off sales, it's quite cheap. There's not a huge amount on the roll, which is okay for like the $1 or the $1.50 or whatever it is that you pay for it. With the 50% off, it might be $2, whatever. But with Scrap September, I have used so much of it and I'm almost out. So I've had 2 amazing subscribers. I mentioned this in another video. Apologies if you're hearing this again, but I've had 2 amazing subscribers recommend some different foam tape to me. So I'm definitely getting on board with that. One is an online scrapbooking website and the other is from Bunnings. So I'm definitely going to check those out, especially when the sales are on, so that I can get a bargain. So one of the girls sent it to me via an email, so I was able to get on and get the discount, like when there was a discount on, so when there was a sale on. So that was awesome. So thank you. Do you know how hard it was? See that top floral paper of the book that's just divine? It was so hard to back the cut file with the other side of that. I mean, the other side's beautiful too, but that floral is just scrummy. But you know, sometimes really florally busy pieces of paper are hard to use because there's just so much happening. Anywho, how are you going with your scrapbooking? Are you doing anything? Are you participating in our Scrap September or no? Are you using some cut files? This is, I mentioned it earlier, this is probably my favorite layout I've done in quite a long time. Have you got a favorite? Can you link it to me? Can you tell me? I want to see it. Tag me on Instagram. Send me a link in YouTube. I would love to see your favorite layout. Just email it to me. I'd love to see it. Favorite collection, scrapbook collection. Someone asked me this the other day. I find it very, very challenging to choose one favorite collection. I do tend to love Cocoa Vanilla Studios, but I also really enjoyed working with Crate Paper Boy Collection. I also really enjoyed working with the Merry and Bright Christmas Collection. So I'm not really sure what my absolute all-time favorite would be, but those kind of Cocoa Vanilla Studios, Crate Paper Boy, Merry and Bright Christmas. I think those would be sort of my, up there with my favorites. All quite different choices, I say. Go me. I really struggle with using my stash. Since making a kit, that has definitely helped, but I really struggle with things that don't really go together. I find that really challenging. Like I look at other people's layouts, like the Facebook group, the Bash Your Stash Facebook group, and I love Janet from RTS Scrapbooking, and she just uses whatever. They're not collections that specifically go together. Like here I am using the Bohemian Dreams paper along with the Bohemian Dreams ephemera, so it's going to match, it's going to work. Whereas she just uses her stuff and it just works and it doesn't look like she's plonked random stuff on a page. I wish I could do that. I'm getting better and I'm working on it and I'm watching her videos and getting lessons from watching other people, but I'm just not there yet. But hey, that's what we do. We learn. We keep going. I struggled here. I made the rookie mistake of putting too much foam on the back of my cut file and then having foam in the way when trying to stick it down. And it was going to be like on top of my photos with foam again. And I didn't want that. I wanted the cut file and the photos to all be the same height. So I keep having to take off more and more bits of foam that I already had stuck down. So apologies that this is a little bit repetitive. Hopefully you are scrapping along with me, or you're doing some housework or something else than just sitting here watching me, because that last 5 minutes was probably really boring. But I'm about to start getting into the actual more embellishing now. God, you're lucky I cut out the sticking down of my title, because that would have been painful to watch. I think I moved it 765,000 times. I was just really conscious. I wanted to try and fit everything on the page and not on the white border, except for the cluster up the top and the cluster down the bottom. I wanted those to go over onto the white border. So I was really conscious of making sure that tag just fit in, and then all the clusters and stuff like the flower going on now, I really wanted it to just fit in the page. And I managed it, but it was a little bit tricky. So then I've got my little cluster going underneath the wormy's tail. So this photo is, we're at the doctor's and Thomas has just had his 6-month injections and his flu vaccination. And you have to wait, I'm sure everywhere does this, but just in case, you have to wait 15 minutes just to make sure you don't have any allergic reactions or anything bad happen. That would be best to be at a medical professional place to deal with, which we didn't. We were totally fine, all's well. But yeah, so he's just hanging out, reading some books on the floor, waiting for his 15 minutes to be up. It was so cute. And he was a champ. He gave out one cry, I think, and then that was it. Nothing. So go you, Tum Tum. And then we took him back because it was his first time getting the flu injection. He had to get it twice. So we took him back to get his second shot, and Jack got it. And neither boy cried. Amazing, right? Neither. My 7-month-old, no cry, getting his second injection. I was just, what a super champ. And Jack was fine too. He said, I don't like this, mummy. And he said, ouchie, which is a fair call. I totally agree. But he watched me get mine as well. So it was all in the family. So he wasn't grumpy about having it done. It's just not very pleasant. We know that. But there are many things in life that aren't pleasant that are good for us. Moving on. So I've stuck down a lot. Yeah, see, there's the magical title appearing because it was, I moved it so many times. So it's just sticking on this bottom cluster because I still think the title's not quite right and it will need moving again. It was just all getting a little bit squished down there. So I wanted to make sure it was spread out nicely. I actually probably had the bookworm not quite on the angle that I wanted. I wanted the title to sort of run along the spine of the book. But when I tried putting it on that diagonal, it looked a bit wrong. So I actually probably should have had the book a bit more straight, like the spine of the book's a bit more straight to the title. But anyway, it's fine. It works. And so I'm just getting done with the last little bits and pieces over in this final cluster above the word book. I had to wait to put on that phrase there just to make sure I had the heading all in the right spot because I didn't want to cover too much of the title. Popping away all of my ephemera. I like to pack up as I go. You probably know that by now. Putting on some enamel dots. I was going to use some of the other shapes but decided the circles really fit the best. And this layout is just so bright and colourful. I decided to use multicolored enamel dots, which I just think is super cute. Yeah, getting there. Almost done, in fact. I think I'm going to put on a little bit of gold Heidi Shine because I love me some gold Heidi Shine, and then I will have some close-ups for you. So this cut file is in the shop. If you haven't already had it, it's been in the shop for a while, probably a month or two now. So hopefully you've already used it. But if you haven't, jump on over to the shop and check it out. There is like over 200 cut files in the store. And do you know that Virginia releases more cut files every single week. So you definitely want to keep up to date with what's happening over there. There is such a variety going on in her, like in what she's got. And she has a theme each month as well. So don't forget that. So, we've had underwater theme, beach theme. We've had great outdoors theme. We've had animal kingdom theme. So there's always themes that come through. So when they come, the release is even bigger. She's got even more cut files. I think one of the themes she had like 24 cut files or something crazy. So it's definitely worth keeping up with what's going on. Joining the Facebook group of hers if you're not already. That link is down below as well. You're welcome to share your layouts and see other people's layouts, and just you'll be the first to know if there's any releases. So totally do that. So here come the stills, and you can see how much lighter that paint is actually than how it looked originally. And I just love how this turned out. I think the cut file is just divine. I think this collection is to die for, and the colours are scrumptious, and the photo of that little man is just, love. So please please subscribe, please leave me a comment, and I will see you next time. Thanks everyone. Thanks for watching.